Hello everyone. In this video I want to do some tests with command blocks. I saw a video by Slime which talks about this a bit, but I disagree with a few things that he did. While he showed that there is definitely a performance increase between using chain command blocks and other command blocks, I do have a few problems with the conclusions he made from the video. First of all, he says command block performance has improved dramatically in Minecraft 1.9 compared to Minecraft 1.8, but he only tests the command blocks in 1.9. Of course, if you test only in 1.9, then you eliminate the changes they made between 1.8 and 1.9, other than the new command blocks, which is nice, but the normal command blocks in 1.9 also changed, since they have a direction now. So that's my first problem. And the second problem I had is that he theorized that the reason chain command blocks are faster is that there are fewer endpoints. I think that this might indeed be the reason repeating command blocks are laggy in a cube. I don't think it is the reason why chain command blocks are faster. Because if this would be the case, it would mean that command blocks had gotten less efficient since 1.8. Which doesn't sound logical, and also would not agree with his first theory. So what I want to test in this video is first of all just repeating command blocks pointing into each other, then repeating command blocks not pointing into each other, then repeating command blocks not even near other repeating command blocks, then repeating command blocks in rows. And for the chain command blocks, I want to just test the normal ones. Then I want to test the ones that are conditional. And finally, for the normal command blocks, I want to test them both in 1.8 and 1.9 and see if I can find a significant performance increase or decrease. I also want to test them with some space between them, see if that matters. And finally, I want to what I wanted to do initially was to create more endpoints to properly test that theory by Slime. The problem is that if you do this, that these command blocks will never be executed, because they need to be pointing into a command block, like so, into it. So like so. Now this one will get executed, but the problem is that these three will never get executed. Now these four. So I could not find a way to have multiple endpoints using chain command blocks, and not using too many repeating command blocks, of course. Okay, so first of all, I want to show you the lag this is creating. I've got a server running on a different computer, and it's currently got 0.3 milliseconds per tick. Of course, that's to be expected, since this is completely void world with no command blocks running at all. And yeah, the normal or the maximum tick would be 50 milliseconds, because at 50 milliseconds you would still have 20 ticks per second. Okay, so let's get into the first test. Okay, so now we have our first test. This is a 16 by 16 area, so exactly one chunk. As you can see, if I press F3, you can see I'm at 0, 0 in the chunk, and then 1, 1, so one chunk exactly. And then two layers, so we've got 512 command blocks here. And what they do is basically the same as Slime did, just a scoreboard adding something and a scoreboard removing something. I'm not using the scoreboard because I noticed that when setting that as on the sidebar, that it causes way more lag than having nothing at the sidebar. So we don't have that. And when we don't have anything at the scoreboard displaying, we have a tick of around 10.8. So that's 10, almost 11 milliseconds per tick, which is still fine, definitely. But it shows that there is some significant amount of stress on the server with 512 command blocks. Okay, so let's now swap these two around and see the lag there. So we've swapped these around, and from the lag I can see that there's pretty much no difference, because right now it's around 10.7, and yeah, it varies a little bit. It seems to be a tiny bit lower, but that's just insignificant to to what we would expect. So that's definitely interesting. Now let's just try to put these far away from each other. I have spaced the command blocks out. It's still 512 command blocks, and it was quite surprising to me, but there's actually a significant less amount of lag on the server. So right now it's around 7.5, which I definitely did not expect. So yeah, they're just one block away, and that definitely decreases the amount of lag they cause. So what I was thinking was to just put them just a little bit further away from each other, so we have a few air blocks between them. And I really don't expect any difference to see there, but yeah, let's try it. Now this looks pretty ridiculous, but yeah, also as expected there's no real change in lag, so it's still 7.5 milliseconds per tick. So yeah, spacing them a little bit out seems to have effect, quite significant effect, but yeah, more than one block is not needed. So here we have the command blocks in rows. They're still right on top of each other, and you would probably expect that these would cause more lag than the ones that are spaced out, but less lag than the ones that are right next to each other in one chunk. And that's, yeah, completely correct. So this is 8.8 milliseconds per tick. So pretty much just as expected. They're basically right in between the previous two. Okay, so now let's get on with the the chain command blocks. Okay, so here we have the chain command blocks running, and well, the commands are still remove and add, just like /lime had. And I'm seeing around 9.6 milliseconds per tick. So that's kind of surprising to me, because that's quite close to the repeating command blocks. So it's way more likely than the repeating command blocks that are spaced out. They seem to be quite close to the command blocks that are in a cube. So that was quite surprising to me. So let's do the same test, but with the conditional chain command blocks. Here we have the chain command blocks that are conditional, and the lag that I'm seeing is actually a little bit less than the other command blocks, than the unconditional ones. It's around 9.1, 9.2. So it's actually quite, well, it's a little bit lower. But yeah, it's not too interesting, I think, because yeah, you shouldn't replace your conditional or your unconditional command blocks with conditionals, because, well, yeah, obvious reasons. Also, it's way easier to make a mistake that way. So interesting, but yeah, just a small change. But let's go to the 1.9 fill clock, so the old way. We are now on 1.9 with the old fill clocks, and the server is running at around 10.4 milliseconds per tick. So that's a tiny bit faster than the repeating command blocks, it seems, but yeah, it's really really similar. Okay, so now let's try this, but with holes between them. So now we've got these weird looking things, and the server is running at around 9.5 milliseconds per tick. So seems to be some influence, but very little. It's doesn't seem to be significant. Well, it's significant, but I wouldn't change the regular field command blocks to these, because it's just way more space consuming. Okay, so now let's finally test both of these in 1.8. We are now back in 1.8.8, and we've got the first field clock test world, and it's really surprising to me, but there's quite a significant less lag here. So one tick takes just 6.2 milliseconds in 1.8.8, and yeah, that's just really surprising to me, because it was 10.4 in the snapshots, and that's a really significant increase, basically. And also, it's actually the lowest of all of them. So yeah, just recreating it in the snapshots makes it slower, but also using the chain command blocks, which have been the fastest up until now, makes it slower than what it is in 1.8. And yeah, that's just really surprising. But let's do the final test, which is also making the holes in this one. Finally, we have this world, and basically it's the same amount of scoreboard commands, and just only a few more field clocks. And well, I expected this to be virtually the same as the previous one, maybe a little bit more lag because we have more field clocks, but it turns out that it's actually around 6.0 milliseconds per tick. Now, I'm not sure if it's actually faster or if it's just sort of inconsistent, but anyway, yeah, 0.2 milliseconds on 6 milliseconds isn't much. It seems like there's some decrease in this, but yeah, not nearly as much as the previous ones. I think the conclusions we can make from this video is that command blocks have gotten quite a bit laggier since 1.8. It doesn't matter where the command blocks are pointing to, but having them close to each other is not a good idea in general. And also, repeating command blocks with a block of error between them is the most efficient, but yeah, this doesn't give a good overview. It doesn't show which command block will be executed before the other easily, and also just chain command blocks have functionality which repeating command blocks don't. So I would still suggest using chain command blocks, even though they are a bit less efficient. So but yeah, I think it's still good to know how laggy everything is. That's about it, what I think I've shown here. If you have any mistakes, if you spotted any mistakes, or if you have any suggestions or anything, just leave a comment. I will also put the worlds up for download, so you can check them yourself if you want to. Okay, see you next time.